How do you knit the Northern Lights into wearable art? I'm about to show you an amazing double knitting technique today that just might blow your mind. Welcome, dear friend. Today I am introducing you to our stunning new Skydance shawl by Danielle Chauvet. This pattern was inspired by the Alaskan Aurora Borealis, and you can totally see that in the colors and the waves. As you may know, Tim and I both grew up in Alaska, so we have seen the Northern Lights many times. They are so gorgeous, so stunning. Anytime anyone in the house would notice that the Northern Lights were out, they would yell, "The Northern Lights are out!" And everyone would rush outside, freezing. I don't know why we didn't put our coats on, and just stand there in awe and just amazed at the beauty, because it just never gets old. And this pattern, with all its gorgeous colors and the beautiful waves on that black background, really does mimic that gorgeous awe and beauty of the Northern Lights. And here's where this pattern gets even cooler. Not only is it a beautiful shawl, it is actually knit using the double knitting technique, which is basically two fabrics knit at the same time as one piece. So if you look at this, here's this side. We've got thicker variegated sections and then thinner black, but when you flip it over, it is the exact reverse. So what was black on the back side is now the variegated color on this side, and vice versa. So it's doubly cozy and both sides are equally stunning, and it's totally reversible. If you're a knitter and you've been wanting to try double knitting, I can't recommend this Skydance pattern enough. We used our fabulously fun cosmic confetti fingering yarn to make this. It is so gorgeous, and the colors that we opted for are Abyss and Skyfire Waves. This yarn base is so unique because not only does it have 3 different shades of really subtle sparkles throughout, it also has these fun pastel-like rainbowy tweedy bits. So it's just so gorgeous, and it is amazing when it is hand dyed. Just look at these shades. You can download this beautiful pattern and you can get the yarn over at ExpressionFiberArts.com. While you're there, make sure that you sign up for email and for text update for weekly free knit and crochet patterns. Making this beautiful shawl is a fabulous journey of exploration and delight, as it is actually a 100 row repeat. Once you get into this technique, it's very meditative, and as you start going, you're actually going to find that with each row it becomes very rhythmic, and it's going to feel like you're creating magic. To begin our double knitting, we're going to start with an invisible cast on. This is really cool, and it makes the start of your project look pretty seamless. So I'm going to start by grabbing both of my colors and making a slip knot and popping that onto my needle. Now you can count these as stitches if you like, but I'm not going to. I'm going to actually drop these off. These are just holding the yarn on the needle for now. So what we're going to do to cast on is grab our yarn and place one strand over our pointer finger and one over our thumb. So we're going to get started by casting on this color. And to do that, we start by taking our needle under this blue and then over that peach color. Continue all the way around, and there's our first stitch. And this is a knit stitch. If you look, it looks like a little V. Now we want to cast on this darker color. So we're going to go over the lighter color, over that darker color, swing it under, and that is a purl stitch. You can see the little purl bump. And we're just going to continue to alternate those. So when we want to cast on this color, we start by going under this blue, over the peach, and then all the way under, and there's another little knit stitch. To cast on this color, go over the peach, over the blue, and wrap it under. And we are casting on double the number of stitches, since this is double knitting and we have knitting on the back and knitting on the front. So continuing on to cast on this color, under, over, and around, to cast on the blue, over the peach, over the blue, and under. And you don't want to make this too tight. We want to cast on this color, so we go under, over, and around, casting on this color, over, under, like so. Casting on this color, so we start down here, under, over, and around. Casting on the blue, so we go over the peach, over the blue, and under both. And you'll just continue on until you have the number of stitches that you need for your project. Remember, I'm not counting this original slip knot. we're going to slide those off. So let's do a couple more. We need the peach color now, so under the blue, grab the peach. We need the blue, so go over the peach, over the blue, and under. Now you have different options. You can just leave these here. They are kind of loosey-goosey, so if you set your work down and then come back, they could unravel. There's nothing really holding them. So you can just leave them and give them a little twist so that when you do turn and start your project, you're secure. Or you can create your final stitch using the long tail cast on. So let's do one more peach stitch. And then if you were to do the long tail cast on right now, that final stitch would be peach, which we don't want. So I'm just going to give a little twist and then do your normal long tail cast on, ending with that blue. And so the final stitch is secure, just in case you need to put your work down and then come back later. Now we can get started with our double knitting. Okay, now we can begin double knitting. So we're going to hold both strands in our left hand. So I'm going to wrap it around my pinky, and I like to tension it like this. You're free to tension it however you like. So we're going to start with a knit stitch with this first stitch. So I like to have, which is the blue strand for me, I like to have that coming along this finger, and then I'm going to reverse the peach strand. And we're going to start by knitting this first stitch using just the blue and slide that off. Now you're going to bring both strands to the front, and we're going to purl with just the peach strand, and then slide that off and move both strands to the back. Now we need to knit this next stitch with the blue, but if you'll notice, because of the way we cast on, it's actually reversed. So we need to knit into the back leg to properly position that stitch. So knit into the back leg, grab the blue, slide it off. Both yarns come to the front, purl with just that lighter color, slide it off. Both yarns to the back, knitting through the back loop with just that darker color. And you continue on. Both strands to the front, purl that next stitch with the lighter color. Both strands to the back, knit through the back loop with the dark color. Both strands to the front, purl with just the peach. Both strands to the back, knit through the back loop with just the blue. Front, purl with the lighter color, back, knit through the back loop with the darker color. Both strands to the front, purl with the lighter color, both strands to the back, knit through the back loop with the darker color. And you continue all the way down. Knit with that darker color, purl with that lighter color, and when you get to that original slip knot, you can just slide it off. We don't need that. Now we're going to turn. Let's practice another row, and this is just for practice to get the hang of double knitting. So now this lighter peachier color are going to be the knit stitches, and you can already see the little knit stitches popping out on this side with the peach. So I'm going to tension it around my pinky, wrap it around my fingers like so. So this time I'm going to take the blue and twist that backwards just to give a little separation. Grab your other needle, and we're going to start by knitting that lighter color with just the lighter color, and then slide that off. Both yarns come to the front, and we're going to purl the blue with the blue. Yarns to the back, and now we can just knit normally into the front of the stitch since we've correctly positioned our stitches. Now we're purling with the blue, both go to the back, we're knitting with the peach. Both come to the front, purling with the blue, both go to the back, knitting with the peach. To the front, purl with the blue, to the back, knit with the peach. And when you're getting started, just take your time, find what feels comfortable with the different hand movements. There's no need to rush. You'll get into a rhythm with what works for you. Purl, knit, purl. So there's another row. You can already start to see on this side we have the lighter color. It's knit stitches on this side. And then on this side we've got the knit stitches with the darker color. And we have this beautiful little invisible start to our project. Now the cool thing about double knitting is that you can create designs just like on this beautiful shawl. So here's what you do when you're wanting to change to a new color, and you're going to find all the instructions in the pattern on how to change the colors and when. So we're starting another little practice row. I'm going to have the first stitch being a knit stitch, so I'm going to have the blue there. I'm going to move the peach over like so. We're going to start by knitting that first stitch with both of our yarns in the back. Bring them to the front, so we're just doing what we've been doing. Purl the peach, knit the blue, purl the peach. Now in double knitting, you're always working in pairs. So you knit one, then you purl one. You knit one, you purl one. So let's say you want to change colors. So you're going to work up to where the next stitch is a knit stitch. But instead of working in the blue, we're going to switch. So I'm just going to reposition. You don't have to do this. Just makes it a little easier for me. So this next stitch, we're going to actually knit it with the peach color. Both come to the front. Now we're going to purl with the other color. So remember to grab your other color because that's going to appear on the back side. Knit with the peach, purl with the blue, knit with the peach, purl with the blue, knit with the peach, purl with the blue. And then if you want to switch back, that's totally fine, so that you're back to the original knitting with the blue, purling with the peach. So here we are, knit with the blue, purl with the peach, knit with the blue, purl with the peach. Just make sure when you get back to working the other row that you follow the pattern as written, and keep in mind the new pattern that you're creating since you reversed the stitches. Now I'm going to show you a technique that helps to secure your edges so they're locked together and it creates a nice look on the edge. So check out the designer's instructions for her version. There are different ways to do this. This is just one version. So we're going to continue on and work this row, but this time we're going to do it just a little bit differently. So we're starting with the blue, which is a knit stitch. So I'm just going to position my yarns like so, with the blue over to the left, and then I'm going to have the lighter color twisted opposite over to the right for my purling. So for this, I'm actually going to work into the back of that stitch to knit it. Slide that off. Bring both yarns to the front. Now we need to purl this next stitch with the peach, but we want to lock in the blue yarn. So reach under that and kind of push it out of the way, like so. And then you can grab your other colored yarn and go ahead and finish purling that stitch. And it just kind of locks them together. Then knit with the blue. Both yarns to the front, and now you're good to just normally knit, purl, knit, purl. Knit with the blue. I'm just going to walk down, purl with the peach, knit with the blue, purl with the peach, and we're going to do something a little different at the end too. pearl with the peach. And of course you'll be following the pattern to see which colors you're actually working for your rose. All right, when you get to the final 2 stitches, you're gonna have your yarns in the back and you're gonna slip that next stitch with your, as if to purl, with your needle points together, and then bring both yarns to the front and slip that final stitch. And like I said, this is just one version. So you can already see that we have a little design popping out, and it's the opposite on the back, which is so cool. It kind of feels magical. You're gonna have clean, beautiful selvages once you get going, and that gorgeous start to the project. Now, when you get to the end of your project, you're gonna mimic this with Kitchener stitch when you're all finished. So both ends of your project are gonna look smooth and seamless. And we do have some tutorials on that if you wanna check out those. And then the rest of the pattern continues on in a similar manner. And it's super cool because you're actually gonna repeat rows 1 through 100 6 more times. Also, let me know in the comments if you have ever tried double knitting, or what is the most ambitious project that you have ever done. I would love to hear all about it. Thank you so much for watching. Keep creating, keep experimenting, and remember that every stitch is a step towards something beautiful. I will see you next week. Bye!